I was expecting resistance and I was expecting obstruction. I'm not sure I was expecting this much this early on. It's not what you're doing, Charlie. We don't mind what you're doing, we just don't like the way you're doing it. I don't really know what that means. I don't know. Does anyone else have another way to bring transparency to the housing market? Because is there any other way to bring transparency to the housing market other than revealing the misinformation and bad practices? I had lots of plans for this morning and they all got derailed. We released the second test version of the house price index, the open source house price index. After the first one was hacked by humans within 3 hours. This time it took them 24 hours. This time they had to work much harder, and we actually saw them doing it. We were watching. My coders were sharing the screens and showing. You can actually see, got their IP address. It may have been a real or a fake IP address, we don't know, but it was an IP address from London, and we got some details about it. And we could see what they were doing. So it wasn't a bot. They were manually going around the capture entry thing. Who cares that much about stopping price transparency? Is it someone that doesn't want there to be transparency, or is it just someone that I've pissed off, or an organisation I've pissed off? I mean, it was a fairly concerted attempt, and we knew the first version had zero security on it. We literally wanted to see what would happen, how fast. We found out. This time we thought, okay, we know it's not absolutely bulletproof. I mean, there's no personal data. There isn't even any sensitive data here. So we don't even need high levels of security because of the data that's going in. We just want to make sure that it's not getting spammed by bots and that kind of thing. But it's not just that. In the last 36 hours, no, last 3 days, this week, I have become aware of really quite dark stuff happening behind the scenes in the industry to try to unseat me, discredit me. And if you've got a problem with what I'm doing, come and tell me. Like, literally, whoever you are, I'm always happy to talk, even if you feel very strongly that what I'm doing is wrong. Come and discuss it with me. Tell me why. But they're not going to, because they're cowards, and also because they don't have a leg to stand on when all I'm trying to do is to bring transparency and fairness to the housing market. I understand that especially in difficult times, difficult economic times and uncertain times, people will lash out if they feel that their living and the way they make their living is at risk. And I don't want to negatively affect anyone's chance to make a living, with one exception. If you lie to trick people into parting with money or signing up to stuff that you can earn from in such a way that you are disadvantaging that person, then I hope I do stop you. That's the whole point. That's literally the whole point of what I'm doing. It's to try to stop people unfairly exploiting innocent, naive, vulnerable, first-time movers. And I'm sorry, I don't think that caveat emptor or buyer beware is an excuse. I literally had an agent that I really respected saying, well, the duty's really on the seller. We were discussing whether or not it's okay for estate agents to sign sellers into long-sole agency contracts when they can't sell. And one agent, who I know is actually a very good agent, was defending it and going, oh, seller's duty of care. Well, okay, but what if no one tells them they have to look out for that? What if they are young, relatively young, first-time sellers, have not yet been fucked over by life very badly or by anyone, need to move home because maybe their family's growing, and aren't aware that they need to watch out for agents who will knowingly overvalue, lie, that's called, right? Lie to then list and lock them in. I've had sellers this week messaging me saying, I've only just found your channel. I wish I found it sooner. I would have avoided exactly the nightmare you're talking about, where I am now stuck, signed into a long sole agency contract with an agent who cannot and will not sell my house. I'm all for competition. I'm all for fair competition. I'm all for challenges, but what just has my whole life, I've worked for myself, with the exception of my 3 years in the city as a futures and options broker. I've always worked for myself, in so many different guises, but I've always worked for myself. And everything I've done, as soon as it starts to do well, people start throwing stones. That's not going to help you with your life and making your career work. Throwing stones at what I'm doing isn't going to help you. It's just going to make you hate yourself even more. So I had to come out and get some fresh air, blow off steam a bit. Because the hackers have successfully, effectively taken down the open source house price index test again, which we knew would happen. We wanted to see where the vulnerabilities were. We've now found them, we've now blocked them, but we have to go through the help desk and support with the Ordnance Survey to get it back up and running again, because they have security locks that shut it down once that happens. So it's just delayed. I was hoping that we were actually going to get it live, fully live, the full launch live version, and actually start recording people's January exchange prices today. That was my hope. It might still happen. Got the team working on it, but we're now dependent on a third party to come back to us, which is frustrating. And maybe we will get it up and running, because thank you. I meant to say, actually, thank you very much to everyone. So many of you who just in the last 24 hours have put your house prices in, and it's amazing to see how many sellers. I was expecting to have sort of 80% buyers, 20% sellers, but it's been almost 50-50 buyers and sellers volunteering their exchange price information. There's been a few obviously silly entries that are just not real, but most of them fully legit, fully real. And again, on the rental side, both tenants and landlords. Far more tenants than landlords, but there are landlords entering the rent they're receiving on their properties. And I just get this feel that there's a real desire for this to work amongst almost everybody. Just have a very small number of very powerful adversaries in the industry who don't want it to work. Anyway. I was going to be doing other videos this morning, my usual at my desk videos about the market, but I kind of got derailed, so it's just this for today. Anyway, guys, thank you for your support. The house price index page will be up and running again just as soon as we can get it, and I'm pretty sure this time it will stay up. And for those of you recommending Cloudflare and CloudFront, thank you very much. What we were doing was effectively using that this time, and what they were doing got through it. So we've gone to the next level, several more layers in fact, which annoyingly slow it down a little bit, but at least they make it secure, hopefully. And when we do finally launch the live version, which I'm hoping is days away, if not tomorrow, then Monday maybe, I'm going to be asking everybody to enter their actual house price, their exchange price, whether you're a buyer or seller or an agent or a conveyancer or landlord or tenant. Ask someone else to do the same. This is really important for this to work, because it's got to spread. Ask someone else to enter theirs, or enter it for them if you know it, and share it on all your social medias and say, let's bring transparency to housing prices. This is how we do it, because provided me and my dev team can actually keep this thing up and alive, the rest of our application that we've had for 6 years has resisted all attempts, but because this is public, it's a bit harder. But the BestAgent property website and the BestAgent CRM software, I've never had this problem. It's got really, really good security. But because you have to log in and stuff like that. But I'm rambling. I'm going to shut up. Thanks for listening. Thank you for your support. And if you don't support me, tell me why. And if you're we just don't like you, Charlie, I'm sorry, I left the playground a while ago. That's not a reason. I'm not doing this to try and make friends. That's not my point here. I mean, can you imagine that? Hi, I'm really trying to make friends. I want to make as many friends as I can. I want to make everyone like me. What's that ever achieved in life? Ever, for anyone? In terms of people trying to make a difference. I'm still waiting to hear a good reason why what I'm doing is a problem. Except for the people who are relying on dishonesty to make a living. Sorry, you guys. I can't help what you're doing. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.